Hello and welcome back to yet another trending story segment with me, guys. I just want to read for you the official statement made by Ndhuna after being accused of doing a blood sacrifice in ngengane yakhe ke Nolesego. Let me just get right into it, guys. I would advise for you to fast forward this video because it's such a lengthy official statement. Okay, so let me just get on into it. This part A, and it says here, on the 23rd of October 2024, I received a call from one of my two helpers while I was in Sacr making my way to Rosebank, informing me that my son has fallen into the pool and he is struggling to breathe. I then immediately called 911 and made a U-turn back to the house. While I was on my way back, I called the mother, informing her of the incident, and her response was that she's on her way to Limpopo to discuss the estate of her late grandmother with her family, so I should keep her posted. Part A, let me just say, it screams narcissist, because why are you even giving us the details of why she went to Limpopo? You could have just said she went to Limpopo. Okay, and then there's part B. Part B says, I arrived at my house 20 minutes later and I found the paramedics at the house resuscitating Ingane in his bedroom in the presence of the head of security of the state. Now, in the interim of this process, I have been constantly on the phone with the mother, trying to keep her up to date with the status quo. Unfortunately, my son was declared dead after 45 minutes of trying to basically resuscitate him. I then handed over the phone to the paramedics so that they can break the news to the mother. And at that point in time, I was very shattered to talk further. 5 minutes later, the mother called again and spoke to Len, I think Len or Ian, the state manager, who also confirmed the said news to her. I then asked her if she could please make a turn and come back. Unfortunately, she refused to come back, citing her trip to Limpopo about her late grandmother's estate is serious and she must participate in the family meeting. Regrettably, Ulesego didn't pitch to the scene. So like I said, guys, I think he's trying by all means to paint Ulesego to us as this woman Otanda Imali. She has to go there, Hambe, to go and discuss this estate. You understand? So part C says, in the event of loss of life, it is a standard procedure that paramedics have to wait until the police arrive at the scene to declare the area of the incident as a crime scene. Now, in this case, indeed, the police did come after they were called by the head of security, followed by a forensics team, until the body was dispatched to a mortuary by pathologists. All these processes were concluded around 7 p.m. I was then advised by the police on the scene that I should go to the police station the following day at 9 to obtain the case number and proceed with to Germiston to identify the body 3:30. At this juncture, I did inform the mother so she knows where the body has been taken to. Part D. On the 24th of October, I then went to the police station accompanied by my father, my uncle, and my younger brothers to obtain the case number. After both Ulesego and I agreed that I can go to the police station and we will meet at the mortuary to identify the body at 2 o'clock. While we were in the process of obtaining the case number, I was advised by the officer who was helping us that in order to identify the body, we will need the original birth certificate of the child. Unfortunately, I never had that document in possession, and this is when the police contacted Ubani Ulesego to bring along the original birth certificates to the mortuary. Surprisingly, it is at this point that Ulesego suddenly decided not to cooperate with everyone and refused to bring the birth certificate, and further told the police that in actual fact he doesn't even know when she will be coming back to Gauteng, so the father can use the custody documents and copy of the birth certificate at his disposal to apply for a reprint at Home Affairs. I then proceeded to Home Affairs to obtain a reprint and later proceeded to the pathologist and identify the body in the presence of my younger brother, since Ulesego refused to come. Around 3:30, Ulesego called me and said that she is in Centurion Mall and I must organize transport for her from the mall so that we can meet at Mortuary to identify the body. I did inform her that the identification process had already been done after she refused to cooperate with us. The only thing we need to discuss further is the burial arrangements so that we can lay our son to rest. Now, he further goes on to say, it is unfortunate that this process was being done parallel with her mission to mislead the public through social media platforms with information that are damning to me, while I was trying my utmost best to involve and communicate with her in a civil manner for the sake of our son, despite our toxic relationship that has been like this since 2022, post our 3 months sexual relationship. Haibo. Okay. He further goes on to say, later in the evening, I received a call from a lady who introduced herself as Lesego's sister and wanted to get information from me about what happened and wanted to know when is the funeral, or rather burial, because they are struggling to get information from Lesego and she's only posting things on Instagram without saying or informing them of the passing of the child. He says, I then detailed everything to her briefly and I outlined the above and disclosed the date and time of the burial for them to attend. And she indeed confirmed that she will come with Ubani Ulesego. Now, this matter has been very difficult for me to handle, considering the fact that Ulesego doesn't have a family member that I knew of. Okay. Part E. On the 25th of October, Ulesego called around 12 and asked me when will the child be brought to my house for the funeral proceedings so that she can see the body and be a part of the funeral. I did inform her that she needs to be here at my house by 2 so that we can have private viewing session between my family and hers before the ceremony can commence. An hour later, I received a call from the police station saying that Ulesego wants to come to the funeral, but she needs to know if she is really allowed. I did confirm that she can come and we have already spoken as parents for the sake of our son. Surprisingly, Ulesego did not pitch at the house nor at the burial site, and eventually the boy was laid to rest without the presence of his mother after being afforded the opportunity to be there. He also goes on to say, I also want to confirm that burial was done lawfully. All the documentation such as your death certificate and burial order were in place, and copies of such documents have been furnished to the investigating officer. The last part, which is part F, he says, on the 26th of October, there were 3 investigative officers that were assigned to inquest and came to my house in the afternoon to take separate statements from myself and the helper who was in the house on the day of the incident. At this juncture, I can only wait until the thorough investigation is concluded, because I want to know, how did my son lose his life in the presence of 2 female adults who have been assigned to look after him 24/7 during my absence? Okay, side eye to the last part, because he was literally having after tears on a recent TikTok video which he has decided to take down. Okay, and then the last paragraph says, in the interim of investigation process, I'm willing to cooperate with the mother of my child or any relevant institutions, bodies that the mother might opt to utilize their services in order to find disclosure in order to find closure of this matter. I fully understand that this is a huge shock to her, and it seems like she's struggling to come to terms with this reality. And I hope she didn't have to mislead the public and deal with this matter privately and bury our son with dignity. Sure, guys, I know I have a headache right now. I know you guys have so many questions that I don't know who's going to be able to answer some of the questions. Now, as I was just perusing through Twitter, I was seeing a lot of people trying to answer some of the questions, right? And I just want to take this one person. Maybe guys khona into esinathi singayihlanganisa, but also I was sitting here thinking to myself, what if this person was paid to be writing such things? So this is Nathan, and he says the reason as to why he pushed for the child to be buried the next day is because they are Muslim, and then went on to further ask, why didn't the mother have transport? What grown-ass woman who lives her life doesn't have transport? She could get to and from Elumpompo, basically stating that she could even ask other people ukuthi bamboleke imali, because this was an emergency. Now someone else came forward and said Uma Gimarish, and he basically said, thank you, Nathan. I was not aware that this guy is actually Muslim. She is definitely not Muslim. Their families are not Muslim. So I think in our culture, we all understand that ingane, if anisha dile and kokanga ama damages, then most definitely kumele kwenziwe ama practices aphi akulontombazana. He further went on, made this revelation, right? He says she is a young lady who resigned from her job after her boyfriend said he will take care of her during her pregnancy. She sold her waterfall apartment and assets and moved in Ndhuna. The relationship did not work out after numerous cases of abuse. So I was surprised. Like, what do you mean this was a sexual relationship of 3 months? Okay, so this person is saying, no, kahle, they were in a full-blown relationship. As a result, she ended up selling some of her assets and moved in. And Ndhuna, Oti, she tried to sue him for child maintenance. Unfortunately, she lost the case. The courts awarded full custody of the child to Ndhuna. She has not had any access to the child nor seen the child since the custody was awarded to Ndhuna. And yes, she does not have a house nor a car. Sure, this is a lot, guys. Now, let me just take 2 comments and we can close. One person is saying, after so many paragraphs on reading Ndhuna's side of the story, it still doesn't address why the child was buried within 24 hours without the mother's consent. Why was he on a rush to bury baby Kayon? Okay, because, okay, you are Muslim, but ingane awuhlawulanga. Did he hlawula the child? Like, it literally it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but you just wanted things to be done your way. And the last person is saying, okay, I didn't read the whole thing, but let me ask, so these paramedics removed the child from the pool, they left the dining room, the kitchen, the bar area, and decided to go straight to the child's bedroom. Listen, asizizoke izidenge. So yeah, guys, that is the update that I have for you. Please, let's just engage, and I will surely see you guys on the next one. Bye.